Have you ever wondered, do names have meaning? For instance, the name Jacob means supplanter, holder of the heel, or deceiver. In Genesis chapter 27, verse 36, we find some interesting statements made by Esau, Jacob's twin brother. And it reads, "And he said," meaning Esau, "Is not he rightly named Jacob? For he hath supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he hath taken away my blessing. And he said, Hast thou not reserved a blessing for me?" Well, what about the new name that God gave Jacob? Israel. The name Israel actually means contended with God or wrestled with the angel. In the book of Genesis chapter 32, verse 28, it reads, "And he said," the he being God, "Thy name shall be called no more Jacob, but Israel. For as a prince hast thou power with God and with men, and hast prevailed." It's interesting that names can actually have very interesting meanings. For instance, the name Moses actually means drawn out. What about the name Satan? It means adversary. What about the name Christ? It means the anointed one. Well, have you ever heard of the name Michael? What does that name mean? Well, in Hebrew, the name Michael means who is like God. In the book of Daniel, he, Michael, is named as a protector of Israel. And in the book of Revelation, he is portrayed as the leader of heaven's army in the war against Satan. Well, what about the word archangel? Does that have any meaning? Well, the English word archangel is actually derived from the Greek arch plus angel, literally chief angel or angel of origin. And we should all be very familiar with the word angel in Scripture because it literally means messenger. An angel is nothing more than a messenger of God. So, if we look again at the name Michael, the archangel, if we define its literal meaning, it would literally mean who is like God, the chief messenger of origin. If we look in Scripture, it's accounted where the captain or chief angel appeared on earth. And when he appeared, some interesting things followed. For instance, in Joshua chapter 5, verse 13 through 15, it states, "And it came to pass when Joshua was by Jericho that he lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, there stood a man over against him with his sword drawn in his hand. And Joshua went unto him and said unto him, Art thou for us, or for our adversaries? And he," the man, "said, Nay, but as captain of the host of the Lord am I now come. And Joshua fell on his face to the earth, and did worship, and said unto him, What saith my Lord unto his servant? And the captain of the Lord's host said unto Joshua, Loose thy shoe from off thy foot, for the place wherein thou standest is holy. And Joshua did it. Pay close attention to what the man said to Joshua. He said he was captain of the host of the Lord. He said he was captain of the host of the Lord. In other words, he was saying that he was chief of the heavenly host, which the heavenly host would be angels. So he's saying that he is the captain or chief of the angels. What's interesting is that the captain of the angels tells Joshua to remove his sandals, for where he stood was holy. Then Joshua worshipped him. Now, similar language can actually be found in the book of Exodus chapter 3, verses 2 through 5, where it states, And the angel of the Lord appeared unto him, the him being Moses, in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush. And he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed. And Moses said, I will now turn aside and see this great sight, why the bush is not burned. And when the Lord saw that he turned aside to see, God called unto him out of the midst of the bush and said, Moses, Moses. And he said, Here I am. And he said, Draw not nigh hither. Put off thy shoes from off thy feet, for the place whereon thou standest is holy ground. So this actually leads me to beg a question. Can an angel make anything holy? Let's let the Bible answer that for us. In the book of Revelation, chapter 15 and verse 4, it reads, Who shall not fear thee, O Lord, and glorify thy name? For thou only art holy. So according to the Bible, an angel cannot make anything holy because only God is holy. So if we look further in Scripture, if you remember the story of Balaam, the story that a lot of people like to tell of Balaam and his talking donkey, right? That's found in Numbers chapter 22. Who was it then that Balaam spoke with in Numbers 22 verses 23 to 35? If you look in verse 31, it reads, Then the Lord opened the eyes of Balaam, and he, Balaam, saw the angel of the Lord standing in the way, and his sword drawn in his hand. And he, being Balaam, bowed down his head and fell flat on his face. See, there's a lot of worshiping going on with this angel of the Lord, or this captain of the Lord's host, or this chief angel of origin. So this begs for me to ask the question, are we to worship angels? How does the scripture read in this? If you look at Revelation chapter 19 and verse 10, it says, And I, being John the Revelator, fell at his feet to worship him. And he said unto me, being the angel, See thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant, and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Jesus. Worship God. For the testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. So, if we aren't to worship angels, who then is this angel of the Lord? And who is this captain of the host of heaven that keeps appearing throughout Scripture and keeps getting worshipped? Who then is this Michael, our prince, the prince over Israel? Who is this being? For unto us a child is born. Unto us a son is given, and the government shall be upon his shoulder. And his name shall be called Wonderful, Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Truth is stranger than fiction. Brothers and sisters, who do you think he is? Truth always stays true, whether we like it or not. God bless, but it's time.